I didn't know betrayal could be so quiet. No screaming. No dramatic goodbye. Just the soft beep of a scanner, the shuffle of shoes towards security, and the sudden, terrifying absence of my name on a screen. 1 minute I was standing behind my parents at the airline counter in Charles de Gaulle Airport, Paris, half asleep and emotionally drained from days of pretending our family trip was something it wasn't. The next minute, I was invisible. "Ma'am," the airline attendant said, gently, eyes flicking between her monitor and my face, "I'm not finding a valid boarding pass under your reservation." I laughed at first. A reflex, a nervous sound. That's not possible. We're all on the same booking. Behind me, the terminal buzzed with early morning chaos rolling suitcases. Parents stood a few feet ahead, backs turned. My sister, Angela, hovered close to them, her shoulders stiff. The attendant typed again, slower this time. "I'm sorry," she said. "Your return ticket was canceled?" Turned sharply. "What?" The attendant lowered her voice. "It was voided about 20 minutes ago. Authorized by the primary account holder." Primary account holder. My mother. I stepped away from the counter, heart pounding, and hurried toward my family. "Mom?" My voice cracked. "What is she?" She adjusted her scarf, slow and deliberate, like she was bracing herself. "We made a decision," she said finally. My father stood rigid beside her, jaw clenched. I asked, already knowing, "You've been unstable lately," my mother continued, her tone calm, almost rehearsed. "Emotional, difficult. We can't keep enabling it." "Enabling?" I looked at Angela. "You took my phone earlier for pictures." She swallowed. "You didn't need it right then." My chest tightened. "Mom, my passport?" Her purse strap slid higher on her shoulder. "I'll keep it safe." That's when it hit me. Not confusion. Not panic. Clarity. They had planned this. "You canceled my ticket," I said slowly. "You..." Stranded me. My father finally spoke. "You're 38 years old. You'll figure it out. You don't get to decide that. I paid for this trip. I paid for you." My mother's eyes hardened. "And we're done being financially manipulated." The irony almost made me dizzy. I looked around, suddenly aware of how exposed I was. No phone, no charger, no passport, no boarding pass. Thousands of miles from home. "You can't just leave me here," I whispered. My mother's expression didn't change. "This is for your own good." They turned away. Just like that, I stood frozen as they walked toward security, scanned their passes, and disappeared behind the glass barriers without a backward glance. My heart slammed against my ribs. I rushed back to the counter, words spilling out in broken fragments. Mistake, misunderstanding, family emergency. The attendant's sympathy couldn't change policy. Security was already watching. "Ma'am, you'll need to step away from the restricted area." I backed up, breath shallow, mind racing through worst-case scenarios. No way to call anyone. No access to money beyond what I had in my wallet. No legal documents. I had never felt so deliberately erased. That's when I noticed him. He stood a few yards away, leaning casually against a column near the VIP exit. Mid-40s, maybe early 40s, tailored charcoal suit. Watch understated, but expensive. Not flashy controlled. He'd been watching, not staring. Observing. As security edged closer, he pushed off the column and walked toward me with unhurried confidence. When he spoke, his voice was low, steady, unmistakably American. "Pretend. You're my wife," he murmured, not breaking stride. "My driver's pulling up." I blanked. "What?" He leaned closer, just enough that only I could hear him. "Trust me?" he said, a faint, unreadable smile touching his mouth. "They're going to regret this." Every instinct screamed danger, but desperation has a voice, too, and it's louder. Before I could overthink it, he took my hand. His grip was firm, grounding. Like this wasn't a gamble to him at all. "Everything okay, sweetheart?" he said aloud, perfectly pitched for nearby ears. Security hesitated. I swallowed hard. and nodded. Yeah, just long trip. His thumb brushed reassuring circles against my knuckles as we walked. No one stopped us. No one questioned him. Outside, a black luxury sedan waited. Engine humming. The door opened. I got in. The car pulled away from the terminal. Paris shrinking behind tinted glass. Only then did my hands start to shake. I let out a breath I felt like I'd been holding my entire life. What just happened? I asked. He didn't answer right away. The city lights streaked past as the car merged onto the road. My name is Alexander, he said finally. And you were set up. The certainty in his voice made my stomach twist. I turned toward him. You don't know anything about me. I know enough, he replied calmly. You didn't panic, you didn't scream. You tried to fix the problem. That doesn't mean I should follow strangers into cars. No, he agreed. But it does mean you're not reckless. I studied him, every detail now that adrenaline was fading. He looked tired, controlled, like someone used to pressure. Where are we going? I asked. To a private terminal, he said. Then to New York. I laughed weakly. I don't even have a passport. He reached into his jacket and handed me a phone new, unwrapped. Already handled. I stared at it. Why? Alexander leaned back. Because I need someone believable. And because whoever did that to you didn't expect anyone to intervene? A pause, and I don't like bullies. Silence filled the car. My mind raced through 1,000 red flags. Yet beneath the fear, something else stirred. Resolve. My name is Joyce, I said. Joyce Romero. And if you're lying to me, I'm not, he said simply. The car slowed. A sleek jet sat on the tarmac, lights glowing against the night. Alexander turned to me. Here's the truth. I have a public event in New York, high stakes. People questioning my judgment after my wife died. I need stability on display, protection, and the chance to make sure your family never gets to do something like this to you again. The door opened. Cool night air rushed in. I looked back once at the distant airport, at the life that had just slammed shut. Then I stepped onto the tarmac and followed him toward the jet. I had no idea this decision would cost me everything. And give me something far more dangerous in return. Asterisk, the jet door sealed behind us with a soft, funnel clicked out. It wasn't dramatic. No rush, no turbulence. Just quiet efficiency, the kind that came from people who did this often and didn't need to announce it. Inside, the cabin smelled faintly of leather and citrus. Low lights, plush cream seats arranged to face each other, a polished table between them. No logos, no excess dot power without noise. I sat slowly, my body finally realizing how exhausted it was. My legs felt hollow, like they'd been carrying me on borrowed strength for hours. Alexander took the seat across from me, already loosening his cufflinks. Water? He asked. Yes, I said, my voice rough. He poured a glass and slid it toward me without ceremony. I drank too fast, the cold biting my throat, grounding me. For the first time since the counter at Charles de Gaulle, no one was rushing me. No. One was talking over me. The engines hummed to life. The plane began to move. Only then did the fear come back sharp and focused. You said you handled my passport, I said quietly. How? Alexander didn't flinch. I have a copy on file from a prior business visa. Enough for expedited clearance under private flight protocols. I stared at him. That's not normal. No, he agreed. But it's legal. The plane lifted. Paris dropped away beneath us, a scatter of lights dissolving into darkness. I wrapped my arms around myself. You still haven't told. Me? Why me? He leaned back, studying me, not my face, but my posture, the way I held tension like armor. Because your family didn't just abandon you, he said. They staged it. My stomach tightened. I know. You know, emotionally. He corrected. But you don't know how far they're willing to go. I closed my eyes. Images flooded in my mother's calm voice, my father's refusal to look at me, Angela's silence. They've always controlled the narrative, I said. This was just louder? Alexander nodded once. I've seen this pattern before. It escalates. I opened my eyes. Then why put yourself in the middle of it? Because, he said carefully, someone's already trying to dismantle my life using similar tactics. That got my attention. Asterisk, my wife died 2 years ago. He continued. Car accident, public, clean, tragic. I'm sorry, I said automatically. He acknowledged it with a slight tilt of his head. Thank you. But grief isn't the problem. Opportunists are. He leaned forward, resting his forearms on his knees. My younger brother Nathan believes. Leadership should pass to him. He's been waiting for a weakness, and your wife's death was that weakness. Yes, he said. Then I made a bad investment. 1. Grief-clouded judgment. He's using it to argue I'm unstable. I swallowed. So you need me to... what? Be proof you're fine. Be proof I'm grounded, he corrected. Human, supported. I laughed softly. You're asking a woman whose family just stranded her without a phone to place stability. His eyes sharpened. Exactly. I didn't miss the implication. You want someone who knows what it looks like when control is disguised as concern. Yes. The plane leveled. A soft chime indicated cruising altitude. Silence settled between us, not awkward. Just heavy. Finally. I asked the question burning in my chest. What happens after? Alexander didn't answer immediately. He reached into his jacket and placed a slim folder on the table between us. Terms, he said. I opened it. Inside. A concise agreement. Clean language. No fluff. Temporary public partnership. Duration. Minimum 3 months. Compensation, $50,000 upfront. Housing. Secure residence in Manhattan. Confidentiality. Mutual strict. Exit clause. Immediate no justification. Required at the bottom, a note in bold. Identity protections prioritized. My throat tightened. You really think this will help me? I said. I know it will, he replied. Because your family's next move will be to make you look unreliable. I looked up sharply. You don't know that. I do, he said calmly, because they already started. He slid the phone toward me. A new message notification glowed on the screen. Unknown contact. We're concerned about Joyce. She seemed emotionally unstable in Paris. If anyone hears from her, please let us know. We're worried she may not be thinking clearly. My chest hollowed out. That was sent an hour ago, Alexander said. To 3 people, I felt sick. They're laying groundwork. Yes, he said. So you don't just need help getting home, you need a counter-narrative. I stared at the agreement again. My instincts screamed caution. But something else, something colder and steadier, was waking up. What if I say no? I asked. Then I still get you to New York safely, he said. I won't leave you stranded twice in one night. And after that, he said honestly, you're on your own against people who know your weaknesses better than you do. I closed the folder. For years, I played the role my family assigned me. The responsible one. The fixer. The emotional sponge. They had finally pushed too far. I have conditions, I said. Alexander's mouth curved slightly. I assumed you would. No real names in public, I said. I get final say on what parts of my past are shared. And if at any point this puts me in legal danger, I walk. He nodded. Agreed. And I added, my voice steady now, I'm not your decoration. If I'm doing this, I am involved. I don't smile and nod. I contribute. He studied me for a long moment. Then he extended his hand. Deal. I shook it. The tension broke, not vanished, but redirected. As the hours passed, the cabin lights dimmed. Alexander returned to his laptop, typing quietly. I watched the dark sky through the window, thoughts spiraling. My divorce replayed in fragments. The years of compromise. The guilt my parents weaponized every time I tried to pull back. I thought that trip to Paris might mend something. Instead, it had exposed everything. Sleep came in shallow waves. When I woke, dawn was creeping across the horizon. New York emerged. Below us, steel and glass catching fire with morning light. A car met us on the runway. No press, no fanfare. The city rose around us as we drove. Traffic already alive. Alexander's building sat tall and discreet, its entrance shielded by understated luxury. The doorman greeted him by name. Inside, the elevator rose smoothly, silently. Elena will show you to a guest suite, Alexander said. Rest, we'll talk later. The doors opened to a penthouse that felt like air open, modern, floor to ceiling. Windows revealing the skyline. Elena, warm-eyed and calm, led me to a room that looked out over the city like it was mine. When she left, I locked the door behind her. Then I sat on the edge of the bed and let the weight of everything hit me at once. I showered, changed, stared at myself in the mirror. I looked the same, but something underneath had shifted. The phone buzzed. I hesitated, then opened my contacts and added one name. Diane Russell. My cousin. The one person who'd always seen through my parents' games. She answered on the second ring. Joyce? Her voice broke with relief. Where the hell have you been? I'm safe, I said. In New York. A pause. Your parents said, you had a breakdown, but you wandered off. I closed my eyes. They stranded me. They canceled my ticket. Silence. Then, softly, I knew it. My heart pounded. What else did they say? Diane exhaled shakily. They're telling people, you're unstable, that you're not managing money well since the divorce. Cold spread through my chest. And, she added carefully, they mentioned looking into legal options to protect you. The word echoed in my head. Protect. I opened my eyes, staring at the city below. How far are they willing to go? I asked. Diane hesitated. Joyce? They asked about your condo. The one your grandparents left you. My grip tightened on the phone. They're not worried about me, I said flatly. They're worried about control. Yes, Diane said. And I think this time they're serious. I ended the call and stood there, phone trembling in my hand. I wasn't just dealing with betrayal. I was dealing with a hostile takeover of my life. Later that afternoon, Alexander knocked lightly and stepped into the suite. Your family escalated, he said, not unkindly. I know, I replied. They're circling my inheritance. His jaw tightened. Then we moved fast. How? By proving you're competent, visible, and supported, he said, starting now. He paused at the door. Joyce, whatever they try next won't be subtle. I nodded. Good. Because neither am I anymore. As the city hummed beneath us and plans began forming in the quiet air. I didn't realize one thing yet. My parents weren't just preparing to discredit me. They were preparing to erase me legally. And their next move was already in motion. Asterisk, the first thing I learned about power was this. It doesn't announce itself when it's about to hurt you. It whispers. It documents. It files paperwork. I didn't know that yet, not fully. All I knew that morning was that the city outside. Alexander's penthouse looked calm in a way my mind wasn't. Manhattan moved with purpose, like nothing could derail it. I envied that certainty. I sat at the kitchen island with a mug of untouched coffee, scrolling through the phone Alexander had given me. Notifications stacked quietly, emails, missed calls, social pings from people who suddenly cared where I was. They weren't asking me. They were asking about me. Alexander walked in already. Dressed, jacket crisp, expression unreadable. He set a slim tablet down in front of me. You should see this yourself, he said. On the screen was an email thread. My mother's name sat neatly at the top, written in the careful tone she used whenever she wanted to sound reasonable. We're worried Joyce may be experiencing a prolonged emotional episode following her divorce. She has withdrawn from family support and is making impulsive decisions involving large assets. I stopped reading halfway through. They're building a case, I said. Yes, Alexander replied. Not publicly, yet. I exhaled slowly. They're going to say I'm unstable. They're going to say you're a risk, he corrected. To yourself and to your property. The word property sat heavy between us. My condo. I said quietly. He nodded. Your grandparents left it to you outright. No trust, no oversight. And that's the problem, I muttered. Alexander leaned against the counter. Joyce, have you ever formally documented your mental health history? I stiffened. I went to therapy after my divorce, like a functional adult. That's not a weakness, he said immediately. But in the wrong hands, it becomes a tool. My stomach tightened. They're going to twist it. They already are. Silence stretched. The hum of the city filled the space. What do we do? I asked. Alexander didn't hesitate. We go on record on your terms. That afternoon, I met Martin Coleman. He arrived with the energy of a man who didn't waste time on theatrics. Mid-50s, silver hair, eyes sharp behind thin-framed glasses. He shook my hand firmly. Joyce, he said. I've reviewed what your parents are circulating. And? I asked. It's manipulative, he said plainly. But not airtight. Yet. Martin laid out the reality with brutal clarity. In New York, adult guardianship / conservatorship / is rare without severe impairment. But petitions can still be filed. And once filed, damage is done, even if dismissed. So they don't need to win, I said. They just need to stain me. Exactly. I leaned back, anger simmering under my skin. They're framing... Concern is control, Martin nodded. Classic and dangerous. Alexander spoke up. What's our counter? Preemption, Martin said. We establish Joyce's competency before they formalize anything. How? Independent psychological evaluation. Financial audit. Affidavits from colleagues. And, he added, glancing at Alexander, public visibility. I stiffened. You want me in the spotlight? Selective light, Martin corrected. Silence is what lets them define the story. I swallowed hard. Do it? The next days blurred into motion. Appointments. Paperwork. Evaluations conducted by professionals who asked hard questions and took careful notes. I answered everything. Honestly, about my divorce, my stress, my anxiety. For the first time, those truths didn't feel like liabilities. They felt like evidence of survival. At night, I sat alone in the guest suite, staring at the city lights. Replaying memories I hadn't touched in years. My mother standing over me as a child, correcting my tone. My father reminding me who paid the bills. Angela watching quietly, learning how to stay invisible. I'd mistaken familiarity for safety. I wasn't making that mistake again. Meanwhile, Alexander's world intensified. Board members questioned him. Media sniffed around. His brother, Nathan, moved quietly but aggressively feeding doubt, hinting at instability. One evening, after a long day, Alexander poured 2 glasses of whiskey and handed me one. I didn't plan for this to intersect so deeply, he said. Neither did I replied. He studied me. If you want to walk away... I don't, I interrupted. They won't stop if I do. Something like respect flickered in his eyes. The gala planning began in earnest. This wasn't just an event. It was a battlefield. Alexander's team filled the penthouse conference room with mood boards, timelines, and vendor proposals. I sat. Quietly at first, absorbing dynamics. Then I noticed the gaps. You have 2 keynote speakers scheduled back to back, I said. That kills momentum. The room paused, and your sponsor seating places rivals next to each other. I continued. They won't talk. They'll posture. The lead coordinator frowned. We've done this for years. And how many times has it blown up? I asked calmly. Silence. Alexander watched closely as I stood, moving pieces around, explaining. Flow, energy, optics stopped by the end of the meeting. The plan had changed dots, so had the room's perception of me. You've done this before. Alexander said later. I used to manage corporate events. I replied. Before my marriage. Before I started shrinking. He nodded. You're not shrinking now. The days before the gala were relentless. I handled vendors, negotiated delays, smoothed egos, rewrote scripts down at night. Alexander and I rehearsed. Our cover story. Chicago. I said. You complained about the coffee? He smiled faintly. I always complain about coffee. Good, I said. Then it's believable. But beneath the performance, something else was happening. Trust. Not blind. Not romantic. Strategic. Then, 3 days before the gala, Diane called. They filed. She said. My blood ran cold. Who? Your parents? She replied. Preliminary petition. Guardianship. The room seemed to tell. Martin confirmed it an hour later. It's weak, he said, but it exists. I closed my eyes. What's their angle? Your emails after the divorce, he said. A missed appointment. Claims of financial impulsivity. And timing? I asked. They want leverage, Martin replied. Fear. Pressure. Alexander stood beside me, jaw tight. We proceed. Proceeding? Meant escalation. The gala night arrived heavy with tension. The ballroom glowed under chandeliers. Cameras flashed. Champagne flowed. I stood beside Alexander, hand resting lightly on his arm. Every movement measured. This wasn't pretending. This was positioning. Halfway through the night, Alexander's phone buzzed. Tabloid alert. An article. Questioning his judgment. Anonymous sources. Carefully timed. I saw his shoulders tense. Across the room, I spotted a man watching us closely. Harlan Reed, conservative investor. Critical deal? I excused myself. Mr. Reed, I said smoothly. Joyce Hayes. His eyebrows lifted slightly. The wife. Yes, I said, and part of the strategy team. I didn't ask permission. I showed him numbers. Quietly. Efficiently. Rumors don't pay returns, I said. Performance. Does. He studied the data. Skepticism easing. Let's talk after the auction, he said finally. The night ended with applause and cautious winds. But in the car afterward, Alexander was quiet. Nathan won't stop, he said. Neither will. My parents, I replied. He turned to me. Then we need something stronger. I met his gaze. What? A legal bond, he said. Marriage on paper. The word hung between us. I didn't react right away. Why? I asked. Because courts and boards respect it, he said. And because it protects you too. I thought of my parents' petition. Of control disguised as care. Terms, I said. He named them. Generous, protective. I added my own. He agreed. City Hall was quiet. Fluorescent lights. No romance. We signed. Joyce Hayes. The name felt foreign. Temporary. Armor. When my parents found out, the calls came. Voicemails filled with outrage. Accusations. Threats. I didn't answer. Instead, I drafted something else. A formal response. Not emotional. Not defensive. Just facts. They had drawn the line. So had I. And as the legal machine began to turn in earnest, one truth settled deep in my chest. This wasn't about revenge. Not yet. This was about survival. And the people who tried to erase me were about to learn I document back. Asterisk paper. Cuts hurt more when you know they were intentional. That's what the legal process felt like. Slow. Precise wounds delivered by people who smiled while doing it. The guardianship petition arrived in full. 3 days after my marriage became public record. Martin forwarded it to me with a single line of text. They escalated. We're ready. I opened the document alone in the guest suite. Sunlight spilling across the bed like it had no idea what I was about to read out. My mother's name sat at the top, neatly typed. My father listed as co-petitioner. Angela referenced. As a supporting witness, they weren't just claiming concern. They were claiming authority. History of emotional instability following divorce, impulsive decision-making, withdrawal from familial guidance, vulnerability, to manipulation by third parties. I stopped there, fingers trembling. Manipulation by third parties. Alexander. They had framed him as the threat, the predator. Manipulation by third party. Alexander. They had framed him as the threat, the predator. Term. I just stopped there, fingers trembling. The reason I needed protection, I felt something harden in my chest, not fear. Focus. Martin called an hour later. They're pushing for an expedited hearing. So they want speed, I said. They don't want scrutiny. Exactly, he replied. But their evidence is thin. We'll let them talk. Alexander joined us on the call. What's our posture? Controlled, Martin said. No emotion, no reactions. Joyce appears calm, confident, prepared. I exhaled slowly. I can do that. The days leading up to the hearing were brutal. Depositions, affidavits, evaluations, every part of my life reduced to bullet points and timestamps. I submitted bank records showing steady management, letters from former clients praising reliability, a formal psychological assessment concluding no impairment. Martin filed them all. My parents' response was louder, not stronger. They leaked concern to relatives, neighbors, church friends, anyone who'd listen. I learned who believed them by who stopped calling. The night before the hearing, Alexander found me standing at the window, staring at the city. They're going to paint you as cold, he said quietly. Detached. I am detached, I replied. That's how I survived them. He studied me. Just don't confuse calm with silence. You're allowed to speak. Courtrooms are colder than movies, make them look. No drama. No speeches. Just beige walls, wooden benches, and a judge who looked tired before we even began. My parents sat. Across the aisle. My mother wore navy conservative. My father looked stoic. Angela sat between them, eyes fixed on the floor. They didn't look at me. The judge opened proceedings without ceremony. Petitioners, you may begin. My mother stood. She spoke gently, concerned. Every sentence wrapped in love. She's always been sensitive. After her divorce, she struggled. We just want to keep her safe. She referenced my therapy sessions, my canceled plans, my withdrawal. I watched the judge's face, neutral, listening. Then Martin stood. Your Honor, he said calmly, this petition is not about welfare. It's about control. My mother stiffened. Martin laid out the timeline, the canceled ticket, the disappearance of my phone, the sudden filing. He didn't accuse. He documented. When it was my turn, the judge looked directly at me. Double quotes Miss Hayes. She said, do you believe you are incapable of managing your affairs? I met her gaze. No, I said clearly. Do you believe your parents' actions were justified? I paused. No, I said again. They were calculated. A murmur rippled through the room. The judge turned to Angela. Double quotes Ms. Romero. She said, you're listed as a supporting witness. Do you wish to add anything? Angela's hand shook. As she stood, she looked at me for the first time. I thought they were helping, she said softly. But canceling her ticket, taking her phone, that wasn't protection. My mother snapped her head toward her. Angela. The judge raised a hand. Ms. Romero, continue. Angela swallowed hard. Joyce has always managed her life, better than anyone I know. Silence fell. My mother looked stunned. My father rigid. The judge nodded slowly. I've seen enough, she said. This petition lacks sufficient evidence. It appears motivated by financial interest rather than incapacity. Gavel down. Dismiss. Just like that. No victory speech. No apology, but it was over outside the courthouse. My parents approached me for the first time in weeks. This isn't finished, my father said quietly. It is for me, I replied. Angela lingered behind them, tears in her eyes. Sorry, she whispered. I nodded once. I didn't forgive her. I didn't need to. That evening, Alexander poured 2 glasses of wine and handed me one. You were unshakable, he said. I was done being explained. I replied, but the war wasn't over because humiliation doesn't end entitlement. It sharpens it. And as my parents regrouped in the shadows, planning their next move, one thing became clear. They hadn't lost control. They had lost access, and that made them dangerous. Losing in court didn't humble my parents. It offended them. That distinction mattered, because people who are humbled retreat. People who are offended retaliate. I felt it before I saw it, the shift in the air, the tightening of invisible strings. Silence followed the hearing, but it wasn't peace. It was recalibration. 3 days later, Martin called. They're shopping a different angle, he said. I closed my eyes. Of course they are. Not guardianship, he continued. Credibility. My stomach sank. Meaning? They're contacting people from your past, old coworkers, friends from before the divorce, fishing for anything that supports instability. I exhaled slowly. Character assassination. Yes, Martin confirmed. The goal isn't legal control anymore. It's isolation. Alexander listened quietly, jaw tight. What can they actually do? I asked. Damage, Martin said plainly. Reputation is easier to bruise than property. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in the dark guest room, staring at the ceiling, replaying every vulnerable moment I'd ever shared. Every late night text, every confession. Every tear shedding what I thought was safety. They knew where to press the next morning. My inbox confirmed it. A former colleague emailed polite, distant, asking if everything was okay, mentioning he'd heard concerning things. Another message followed. Then another, concern wrapped in curiosity. Curiosity wrapped in doubt. Alexander found me at the kitchen island, phone in hand. They're moving fast, he said. They always do when they're losing, I replied. He studied me. You don't look surprised. I grew up with them. I said, this is what happens when they can't control the outcome. What's the counter? He asked. I set the phone down. We go public, I said. Alexander raised an eyebrow. Carefully, strategically, I corrected. They're betting I'll hide. The next week became a calculated reveal, not a press conference, not a rant. Visibility. I attended industry events, took meetings, posted neutral, professional updates. Let people see me functioning. I accepted a small consulting role through one of Alexander's connections, nothing flashy, just competence on display. And quietly, Martin prepared something else, a cease and desist. It went out to my parents with surgical precision. Any further attempts to misrepresent Joyce Hayes' mental capacity or financial competence will be met with legal action for defamation and harassment. My mother called within the hour. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. You're destroying this family, she said, voice trembling not with grief, but with fury. We only ever tried to help you. I deleted it without listening to the end. Angela emailed next. They're spiraling. She wrote, please, just talk to them. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I replied with one sentence. I already did. They just didn't listen. Around that time, Alexander's problems escalated to Nathan leaked internal documents to suggest Alexander had relied on me excessively since his wife's death. Dependency, they called it. Emotional crutch. One headline whispered. Alexander watched the article in silence, then closed his laptop. They're merging narratives, he said. Yours and mine. They want to make me look like your weakness, I replied. And you look like my instability. He nodded, which means we end both stories at once. The idea came together over whiskey and exhaustion. Marriage, Alexander said. Not just on paper. I looked at him sharply. Define that. Publicly stable. visible partnership, measured appearances, shared decisions. I considered. This wasn't romance. This was optics. What do I get? I asked. Protection, he said, and leverage. I leaned back. Terms change. He didn't argue. We amended the agreement. Higher compensation. Full legal indemnification. My involvement formalized as a strategic consultant, not a silent spouse. And one more thing. If this ever crosses into control, I said quietly, I walk. He met my gaze. You won't need to. The next month unfolded like a chessboard. Alexander and I attended events together measured. Professional, unshakable. We spoke separately. We didn't overperform intimacy. Stability doesn't shout. My parents tried one last move. They contacted the board of my grandparents' old trust, suggesting an audit. Martin shut it down within days. No standing, he said. No leverage. That's when the silence finally came. Not tactical. Defeated. One evening, I stood alone in my Manhattan condo, the one they wanted so badly. The space was empty, echoing mine. I walked through each room slowly, touching walls, windows, door frames. They'd tried to take this from me. They'd failed, but something else had changed too. I wasn't just defending myself anymore. I was building something new. And in that quiet realization, I understood the truth. Revenge doesn't start with destruction. It starts with independence. And mine was only beginning. Asterisk. Independence feels powerful until you realize how expensive it is. Not financially, emotionally, once you stop being controlled. You become something far more threatening to people who relied on your obedience. You become unpredictable. The silence from my parents lasted exactly 19 days. I counted. On the 20th, the first crack appeared not from them directly, but through someone else. I was in Alexander's penthouse office, reviewing layout drafts for a private investor retreat I'd been contracted to plan. The role was official now. My name said, on letterhead. My decisions carried weight. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I let it ring. Then it buzzed again, against my better judgment. I answered, Joyce. A woman's voice said, breathless. It's Marlene, from church. Your mother asked me to call. I closed my eyes. I don't attend that church anymore, I said calmly. I know, she rushed, but your parents are... Well, they're worried. They said you've cut them off completely, that you've changed. I almost laughed. They're not worried, I said. They're uncomfortable. A pause, then quieter. They said you married a stranger for money. There it was, the new story. I felt the familiar tightening in my chest, but it didn't consume me this time. I married a man who respected my boundaries, I said. That's not something they understand. Marlene hesitated. They're telling people you're being controlled again, that you traded one manipulator for another. I opened my eyes, staring at the skyline. Thank you for letting me know, I said evenly, but please don't call me about this again. I ended the call before she could respond. Alexander looked up from across the room. Your mother? Her network? I replied. They're trying to reframe me as a victim. He leaned back. That's desperation. No, I corrected. That's strategy. That afternoon, Martin confirmed it. They're pushing a social narrative now, he said. Not legal, reputational. They want me to look like I can't function without a handler, I said. Yes, he replied. And they're hoping Alexander fits the role. Alexander's jaw tightened. They're not wrong that appearances matter. They're wrong about who's controlling who, I said flatly. Still, the cost showed up in quieter ways. A client postponed a contract. An acquaintance stopped returning messages. An invitation quietly disappeared. Nothing dramatic. Just erosion. One night, after a 12-hour day, I found myself standing in the kitchen long after Alexander had gone to bed, staring at a glass of water I hadn't touched. This is what standing alone costs. I thought, no one tells you how lonely power can be. The next escalation came from an unexpected Direction.Angela. She emailed me at 2:14 a.m. They're planning something. I don't know what exactly, but they've been talking to Allow again. Not Martin Level. Someone else. Dad keeps saying she can't hide forever. I stared at the words. My first instinct was suspicion. My second was anger. My third, against my will, was fear. I didn't reply immediately. Instead, I forwarded it to Martin. His response came fast. This is vague but concerning. They may be exploring civil claims, undue influence, fraud, even emotional coercion related. To your marriage, I felt my stomach drop. They're going after the marriage. I said aloud. Alexander, half asleep on the couch behind me, sat up. What? I handed him the phone. He read in silence, then exhaled slowly. They're trying to invalidate your choices, he said. Again, by making you the villain, I replied, and me the helpless daughter. They won't win, he said. They don't need to, I said quietly. They just need to drag this out. The next week, the pressure mounted. A gossip site published a speculative piece questioning the authenticity of our marriage. No accusations, just questions. Was Joyce Hayes rescued or recruited? Is this partnership real or convenient? Alexander's PR team responded with controlled neutrality. No denials. No outrage. Still, the damage crept. Then Martin called with news that chilled me. Your parents consulted a forensic accountant, he said. They're exploring a claim that you mismanaged funds during the Paris trip, that they're entitled to reimbursement. I laughed sharply. For the trip I paid for? Yes, he said. It's baseless, but it opens discovery. Discovery. The word echoed. That meant access. Emails, messages, old bank records. My private life laid bare for scrutiny. They're not trying to win, I said. They're trying to exhaust me. Alexander met my eyes. Then we changed the game. How? I asked. We stop reacting, he said, and we go on offense. The plan took shape quietly, not lawsuits, not press. Leverage. Martin began compiling a timeline, every documented instance of manipulation, the canceled ticket, the withheld passport, the coordinated narrative, witness statements. Right now, Martin said, they look like concerned parents. But intent matters, and if intent is proven? I asked. Then they're not caregivers, he replied. They're aggressors. At the same time, I made a decision I hadn't planned on. I reached out to my grandparents' former attorney, the man who drafted the original will. He was older now, retired, but his memory was sharp. They anticipated this, he said, after I explained. Your grandparents were explicit. They wanted you protected from interference. What kind of protection? I asked. He paused. There's a letter. My heart stuttered. A letter? Yes, he said. Not filed. Personal? They asked me to hold it unless needed. I gripped the phone. What does it say? It explains why they bypassed your parents entirely, he replied, and names behaviors they feared. I sat down hard. Can I see it? I asked. Yes, he said. But once you do, there's no unknowing it. That night, sleep didn't come. I lay awake, staring into the dark, wondering what my grandparents had seen that I've refused to acknowledge for years, what they'd known, and how dangerous that knowledge might be now. The letter arrived 2 days later, sealed in a plain envelope. I didn't open it right away. I stood at the window of my condo, the city glowing beneath me, envelope heavy in my hands. This wasn't just about the past. Whatever was inside that letter could change everything. The legal strategy, the family narrative, the balance of power. I took a breath and finally broke the seal. Asterisk, the letter wasn't long. It didn't accuse. It didn't rage. It didn't beg. It documented. My grandparents described patterns they'd watched for decades, control disguised as care, generosity used as leverage, love offered only with conditions. They wrote about moments I was too young to remember. Decisions made for me, not with me. Opportunities quietly redirected. Independence delayed. And then one line stopped me cold. Joyce is strongest when she believes herself free. Her parents fear that strength. I sat on the floor for a long time, letters spread across my lap, breathing through a truth that finally had language. They hadn't changed. They'd been consistent. I brought the letter to Martin. He read it once. Then again, this isn't just emotional, he said quietly. This establishes intent. Long term. What does that mean? I asked. It means if they continue, he said. We don't defend anymore. We end it. The next move wasn't dramatic. It was final. Martin sent a single, comprehensive legal notice. Cease all contact, all third-party outreach, all financial interference. Attached were affidavits, witness statements, and notice of readiness to pursue damages if harassment continued. At the end, one sentence stood alone. Further action will result in permanent legal separation, not estrangement. Separation. That word carries weight in court. The response came a week later, not from my mother, not from my father, from their attorney. Our clients will comply. No apology, no explanation. Compliance. That was how it ended. Months passed. Then a year. No calls, no messages, no intermediaries. The silence this time wasn't strategic. It was surrender. My life didn't become perfect, but it became mine. I built a career independent of anyone's permission. I stayed married on my terms, not as a shield, but a partnership. I learned that peace doesn't arrive loudly. It settles quietly when you stop fighting yourself. One evening, standing in the same condo they once tried to claim, I realized something that surprised me. I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. And freedom doesn't need witnesses. Asterisk, this story was never about money or marriage or even betrayal. It was about control and what happens when someone finally refuses to hand it over. Some families don't want you safe. They want you manageable. Some love isn't love at all. It's ownership. And the hardest lesson of adulthood is this: you don't owe access to people who harm you, even if they raised you. Asterisk, independence will cost you relationships that only existed to control you. But the price of obedience costs you yourself.